Welcome to episode 87 of the Corner of Knit and Tea. I'm Laura, also known as Fluffy K on Ravelry, Fluffy Kira on Instagram and Twitter. I blog over at thecornerofknitandtea.com, and that's where this episode and every episode show notes will be. I have an Etsy shop called The Stash Buckler, Adventures in Yarn, where I sell my handspun yarns, and we have a Ravelry group. Please come join us if you haven't already. Hi! I hope you have had a wonderful week. It has been a pretty good one here. I had a birthday, which means I am another year older, but I got some wonderful gifts and cards and heard from a ton of people, and it was a wonderful day. I'll talk a little bit about it as I go through the show today because I have some of the things that I received. It has been a busy week. I have been crafting full steam, and the name of the game for me is trying to finish a whole bunch of things in May. So I have brought a ton of projects to show you today, so you can see where I'm at on them and which ones I hope to finish in May. And I still have 3.5 to 4 weeks to go, so yeah. It is Sunday, May 8th, which means it is Mother's Day here in the United States, and I would like to say Happy Mother's Day to any mothers watching, here or abroad, and I need to call my own mother when we're done here. I did speak to her a couple days ago, and I sent her that shawl that I knit several weeks ago, the linen shawl, the Zambra, from WIP, so I'll be eager to see what she thought of it and what she's up to today. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you. And I don't think so I think we'll jump right in. Today's tea time is a little special. As I write on my blog, I actually, I'm kind of a not very particular tea drinker, in the sense that I don't measure my water to be the precise temperature. And up until this week, I didn't even own a tea kettle. I was mostly microwaving water and then going ahead and using it for tea. But my sister sent me a tea kettle this week, and it is in a turquoisey teal. It's very pretty. I posted a picture on Instagram, and I inaugurated it today for tea time on the podcast. And the tea that I am drinking is actually from, my husband ordered a gift basket off of Amazon that had tea and cookies in it. And so we have been trying lots of the cookies in it, and it came in a wicker basket that looks like a teacup and saucer. So it has been fun. So I haven't heard of this tea brand before. It's called Ashby's, and I decided to try the white pomegranate tea. There are several other flavors. I think there's a cinnamon orange, there's an apricot, and there might be one other, but I decided to try the white pomegranate today, and I am drinking it in my sparkle mug, which has, or glitter mug, I can't even remember what it's called. It was on special at Tivana. So as I said, I am drinking Ashby's white pomegranate tea today. Ooh, that's pretty good. It's got definitely a lot of pomegranate flavor. It seems like there's no ingredient list on here. I'm going to guess it has some hibiscus in here too, because that's a lot of what it tastes like. And it is quite good. It's also quite hot because my microwave does not get the water to the heat that the tea kettle does. So quite hot. It is a little dark in here today. The weather over the weekend has been quite warm. We were out yesterday doing all sorts of things, and it was in the 80s and humid, so summer is definitely arriving. But today it is overcast, and it is supposed to storm this afternoon. So I've turned on some lights, but the room is a little bit dim and may not be the best for showing colors today. So we'll just have to see how that goes. But which is also why I decided that I wanted hot tea today. It's actually not terribly warm. It's not terribly cool. It's about 70 degrees and humid outside, and it's going to storm. But we also turned on the air conditioning in the house a little bit because when it gets this humid outside, everything inside gets really sticky. So we turned on the AC just a little bit to keep the air dry and moving. So I'm always a little chilled in the AC, so hot tea was good. Anyway, I will start first with what I finished this week, and that is another Mario. As I showed you last week, I made the first Mario, and he is right here, and actually they came out very different, and they came out slightly different sizes. This Mario is slightly bigger than this Mario, and I don't know if I cast on the wrong number of stitches or exactly what I did, but these two Marios are basically the same yarn. It's just different sections of the yarn, and that's a little bit better color wise, and they are going to my cousin who is having twins any day now. So they are for her twin boys, and they are super fun. They both have their tails, feet, arms, and of course delightful bunny ears. So these are the Marios, and with that I don't have to make any more for a little while. So these are ready, set to be off to my cousin. And I got a card today, and so I just need to squish them in the box and send them out there for her. But that is what I finished this week, and between these two, it's about 250 yards of handspun out of the stash. I still have about half a ball left, so I will do something with it. I don't know what. It will definitely go into my Cozy Memories blanket. So that is what I have finished today. This Mario. Backwards again, and I'm still struggling with it. So yes, Marios. So I decided to bring in all of my other WIPs that I have been working on to show you which stages they're in and which ones I want to finish this month. All of them, if I can, except for one. So let's go to the first one. The first one is my Frost at Midnight cardigan. That is a pattern by Kate Davies, and I am using the beautiful Monos Marina, which is a superwash singles. It is lace weight. It is merino, like I said, superwash singles, and that is in the colorway Arboretum. This yarn was graciously sent to me by the U.S. distributor of Monos Yarns, and I am to review the yarn, and I love, love, love the yarn. So, progress. This week I finished the yoke. I finished the front button bands and the collar, and of course I have this all tangled up, so I can't show you exactly what it looks like. That would figure, wouldn't it? Okay, so I have the yoke finished. That is the pine tree yoke, or the fur yoke, and then I have just started the first sleeve on the cardigan. When I alternated balls of yarn on the sweater, and then I used one for one set of button bands and one for the other. And when I weighed the two balls that I had left, they are exactly equal. They are both 35 grams. So I started with one ball on one sleeve, and I'll start with the other ball on the other sleeve and just knit till I run out of yarn. And I am actually hopeful I might get a full sleeve out of this. So this is all I have managed to do, just a few rows from where I picked up last night. And I plan to work on this tonight and this week. This is going to be my first priority project. It's going to go to work with me. It's going to go everywhere with me, because other than a few decreases, the sleeves are just sleeves, you know, other than the decreases under the armpit just to narrow it slightly. There's nothing going on there. So that is the Frost at Midnight cardigan. Good news, bad news. Good news is that it came out, okay. Good news is I love the color. I love the beading detail. I love the feel of the cardigan. And I did measure, and I seem to be on gauge. Bad news is that the top is enormous. I ended up going through and looking at some of the other projects, and it seems like it is a common complaint that the yoke is really, really large and does not fit that well. A lot of people narrowed it down further. I narrowed it down more than the pattern said, but it is still kind of oversized. I decided I'm going to finish the cardigan anyway, try it on, see how I feel about it, and if it doesn't work for me, then I will find someone else to gift it to. So I am very happy with the project. I think the problems are either the pattern or my gauge, even though I seem to be measuring on. And I'm not saying this to blame the pattern designer, but it seems to be an issue with the pattern. So I do not think it is the yarn. I love the yarn, and I may have to buy more to do another sweater for myself. So that is where I am at. Again, it's kind of hard to show. And then the only other thing I'm trying to figure out is how I'm going to deal with the front. whether I'm going to use buttons or snaps or I really like the idea of doing a hook and eye closure just up at the top in the front, just to kind of keep it closed right up here. The only problem with that is I'm a little worried that hook and eyes may snag the lace weight, so I have to decide exactly what I'm going to do. But that is the, I'll just turn it around the back and that'll be easier to show you, the Frost at Midnight cardigan, and I'm calling mine Midnight Pines. But I just love, love, love the beadwork detail. It is just gorgeous. So that is what's going on my needles, and this will be my first priority project. I am really, really, really trying to finish this one as soon as possible. I really hope to get the first sleeve done and start on the second sleeve this week. I think it's unlikely that I will finish it this week, but man, wouldn't that be nice? So that is the first project to show you. The second project to show you is something that I showed you a couple weeks ago. Remember I said I was going to rip that sock out? Yeah, that's this sock yarn. It is Show Me Yarns in the boot heel base. It is Aunt Gigi is the colorway. I ordered a set of Addy flip sticks in size 0s, and I cast it on yesterday while the boys were playing disc golf, and I was kind of following around, and I got very, very little done, but I do like the gauge better, and I think the socks will fit better, and so even though you have seen it further than this before, here is where I am right now, and I'm just about to go into that beautiful green stripe. So that is where I am. These will probably not get much priority this week, but I actually do hope to finish these by the end of the month. My plan is to try and crank out that sweater and then turn my attention to these and my shawl, which I will show you in just a moment. So my hope is still that I can finish these this month. We'll just have to see. I will say that my husband is running a half marathon next weekend, and I am taking him there, and it takes him between 2 hours and 15 minutes and 2 hours and 30 minutes to run, and I will have that time getting to sit and knit while I wait for him to cross the finish line. So I expect to see lots of progress on these next weekend, because this will be a fabulous project for that, especially since it's quite early in the morning. And this is in a fabulous bag that I won from Mina Makes. That's Mina Phillip. She is the knitting expat, and I won her 5,000 subscriber giveaway. And the special thing about this bag is that it is fabric. It was woven in Bahrain, and she took the fabric and made a beautiful project bag out of it. So I have my socks in there, and I really enjoyed carrying this one around yesterday. I just put the drawstring on my wrist, and we just wandered. So the third project that you have seen me working on recently is the Party Cove or floating bacchanal shawl. And I don't know how much I've done since the last time I showed it. I put in a few rows on it here and there. It is getting larger. Again, this is in my hand spun. It is Anne Podlasak's pattern, which is, let's see if I can get the color right on that a little bit closer. It is a variety of pinks right now. There is also some blue in there as I get towards the edging. And this is her Beach Cove shawl, and I am elongating it because I have far more yardage than the pattern calls for, and mine was lace weight rather than fingering, so I wanted it to be bigger. So I am just knitting more repeats on this particular section right now, and the deal is that when I was winding the singles broke. And this is what I still have left. This is quite a bit this is the first part of the ball, and the last part of the ball is here, and most of you can just begin to see the teal in there. My plan is to knit through this ball on the body of the shawl and then use this ball for the few rows of edging and the picot bind off. Hopefully my math is right and I won't end up having to rip back and try and do something else. But so I still have a ways to go on this. I would say I'm probably not even halfway there, maybe halfway there. So this is a project that needs some attention, and this is for the knit along that I am co-hosting with Anne, who is Woolly Wonka Fibers, and it is the shawl knit along, and of course I'm not entering for prizes, but I would like to finish by May 31st. It started April 1st, it runs through May 31st. You can knit whatever shawl you like in whatever yarn you like. However, if you knit one of Anne's patterns, you will be entered into an extra drawing for a joint prize from me and Anne. There are a few other prizes which Anne has announced in her group, and there is a thread in the Ravelry group about the knit along for people to chat and show and share, and I have placed a link in the show notes for that. Excuse me. So that is my party shawl, Party Cove shawl, and I am really enjoying this knit. I just have not gotten to spend a lot of time on it, and I'm getting to the point where the rows are kind of long. So that will also be on the list. Like I said, Frost at Midnight is my first priority, and then this one and the socks are my next priority. One more thing on the list of things I'd like to finish this month, and this may be hoping for too much, but we'll see. Remember the Hilda cardigan? Or sorry, the Hilda sweater? That is that sweater with the amazing looking back that is formed by short rows and twisted rib. Well, as you can see, it now has a sleeve. This is the first sleeve. Oh, and I can see that there's like areas that need to be I haven't completely woven in the ends and tightened up the armpit, so you can see there are like big stitches at the armpit. Anyway, this is the Hilda sweater. It is by Bristol Ivy, and this is in Woolmy's Moses DK, Woolmy's DK, Merino DK, and it is in the Moses colorway, which is a great blue colorway. I have a hard time getting it to show properly on the camera. So I have done one sleeve, which means I have a sleeve to go and then a bit around the collar. And I have also come to the conclusion that I am going to need to pull out the twisted rib hem at the bottom and knit for a couple more inches. This is meant to be a tunic length sweater. And I got stitch gauge, but I did not quite get row gauge. And so I knit through to where it said to knit, and I tried it on, and it is not quite as long as I would like. It's a tunic length sweater, so it's got the length for that. Or it should have the length for that, but it is not quite long enough for me to wear it with stretch pants, which is basically what I want to wear it with, because I find that if I put it on with jeans or other pants, all the bulk at the waist, particularly where the fastening is, shows in the sweater, and I just don't dig that look. But it needs a couple more inches to be decent with stretch pants. So I am going to pull out, it's probably a 8 or 10 row twisted rib hem, and I'm going to go back and add a few more rows to the body. And it looks like I have not woven in any ends because I don't know if I anticipated that I was going to do that or if I just didn't get to the finishing work. But since I did not weave in any of the ends, I should have an easy time of getting this done. So one more sleeve, collar, and a couple more inches on the body. I'm hoping I can squeak this one out this month because I would really like to have my needles pretty darn clear to start a bunch of other things. I want to knit everything. So that's Hilda. So that's 4 projects I would like to finish this month. It is still early in the month, so I'm hoping I can do it. The only other thing I brought in to show you, just because I was going through my WIPs and I thought, why the heck not? This is not something that will be finished this month, but I brought in my Cozy Memories blanket. The last time you saw it, I think it had 81 squares maybe, and I'm working on 100 now because I'm working on this in kind of a square. I'm building it as a square that gets bigger and bigger, and when it gets to the appropriate width that I want, I'll probably just continue building on length. So the new sections are probably this side here, these 2 rows, and let's see, this was a gift from someone. This is a gift from my friend Kippy. It is Woolmy's, well actually it's two things I held together because I didn't have enough of either. But one of the colorways is Woolmy's in the Kuchen colorway, which is egg yolk, and it is a bright egg yolky yellow. This was something I got in a, this is actually held together, two different yarns held together too, and they are, it was a red that I used for a toddler sweater that I did, and some trekking XXL in the rainbow colorway. And then on the bottom, this is, oh, this is some commercial yarn. It is Trendsetter Tonalita. And then this was a lovely mini that I got from someone, and I don't know exactly what that is. This was some blue that I found in my stash, and I'm not sure exactly what that is either. Sorry, I don't know all of these. This is something that I got from Yarnissima. It is Drachenwohl, and I don't know what the colorway is, but it's like blues and teals. This is Woolfolk in the far base. This is what I made my Tempest out of, which was like different shades of gray and black. This one is the Midnight Sheep in Gunpowder, Treason, and Plot. I have socks out of that. This one, I don't remember. I don't remember what this one is, but it's kind of a pinky red. This one, this might be Skein Queen. This was something that was sent to me. This one up here, I actually did my first 2-color block because I ran out partway through and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. The first part is cashmere, and the second part is leftovers from a mitten kit that I got. The orange is also Skein Queen, I think. And then this is a mini that I got from a friend, and I don't know what it is because it wasn't labeled. This one is Mad Tosh in the ink colorway. It looks black. It's actually blue. These are 2 colors that I got as samples of Fiesta Boom, and I held them together. This one is Baronvola in the Wild Orchid colorway, and this one is Unwind Yarn Company in the I Want It Now colorway, which I actually helped name. And then on this side, this is some hand spun right here. This is Two Windows Dye, which I made a baby sweater out of. It's sock yarn. This is Knit Picks Palette in a burgundy colorway. This is some green that was a gift from someone. This is more hand spun. This is the Shetland that I spun in Lay Day that I made socks out of. This one is some sock yarn that I got as payment for knitting up a sample a while ago, and I knit a pair of socks. The Mockery socks. This is Socks That Rock, medium weight, and I knit some socks for my husband out of that. I don't know what this red is. It was some leftovers. This is one of the first pairs of socks that I knit. It's Lorna's Laces, and it's in the Vera colorway. This is leftover Mad Tosh Sport in the Night Blooms colorway that I had left over from doing a baby blanket. This bright orange, I don't remember who that's from. This is some more of my hand spun in autumn colorways. This is a skein that came in a swap. It looks like Some Summer Sky from Dream in Color, but I don't think that's what it is. This is Woolmy's, and it is in the Drachenblut colorway. And then this is Dream in Color in Happy Forest. And the others you've seen. So that is what I've got. I have 3 more squares to make 100, and then I will continue going. But like I said, this is not a project that I expect finished anytime soon, although it is definitely lap blanket size now. So it's getting really, really big. So I think I'm probably almost to the width that I want. I was thinking I might do 11 squared, so 121 squares, and see how wide that gets me, and see how I feel about that. So that took up quite a bit of time. I promise spinning will not take up quite so much time. Let me have a sip of tea and let's move on. Last week I showed you a beautiful braid of Hello Yarn Polworth in the colorway Sideways. I got it in an update. And I spun it up into singles this week. I have not plied it yet. And I will just talk a bit about that briefly. I spun it fractally, which means I tore the fiber in half lengthwise, and I spun a bunch of crazy tiny strips with lots of quick color repeats on this bobbin. And then on this bobbin, I tore the vertical strip in half and spun it straight through twice. So there are longer color repeats on this one and shorter color repeats on this one, and it should stripe subtly. Two things. One, as you know, this is not usually the way I spin on two bobbins, and that relates to number two. I was selected by The Hat over at Acreworks to test their flat pack Lazy Kate. And that shipped just late this last week and should be here in the next day or two. And so I specifically divided this fiber into two so that I could spin it, putting the bobbins on the Lazy Kate and test the Kate. And I'm going to do that with my next couple spins so that I can test the Kate and give them some feedback. And as it is not here yet, I didn't finish the spin. This one is not going in the shop. This is a prize spin, so I figured it didn't matter if it was delayed for a little bit. And so I will do that as soon as the Lazy Kate gets here and post some pictures about that. But that is why I divided this spin into two. As you know, I usually spin it all on one bobbin. Even if I spin each half differently, then I put it into a center pole ball, and I ply from both ends of the ball. But this week we shall try something different, and these are my Acreworks bobbins. So that means it is time for a new spin. While I wait for that to get here, I will probably divide my next spin into two bobbins as well, just so that I can give it some maximum testing. This is a beautiful braid of Gherkin's Bucket. This is 4 ounces of 100% superwash merino fiber in jeweled spruce. And the monitor is not really showing it. It is dark greens and then some blues and teals. And I think the monitor is making it even more blue. There's definitely some bright spots of, that's a little bit better. There's definitely some bright spots of green as opposed to teal. And this was a gift from my lovely friend Liz, and I am looking forward to spinning this up. I haven't decided if this is a shop braid or a Mew braid yet. I know I'm going to love spinning it, but I don't have any plans for it currently, so I may pop it up in the shop. But that is what I am going to work on this week. So that brings me almost to the end. One final really, really nice thing this week that happened is I hit 700 subscribers on YouTube. And I want to thank all of you who have subscribed and who continue to watch and come back and leave comments. And I wanted to do a little bit of a giveaway. So the rules for the giveaway are, because it's 700 subscribers on YouTube, you need to leave a comment on YouTube. You need to be a subscriber of the podcast. If you are not, you can just click subscribe. I will always welcome new subscribers. And you are entering to win. I have 2 skeins, and this is not the right color. I guess I will post a photo on Instagram. This is 2 skeins of Malabrigo lace weight, and I have the it's Malabrigo lace weight, and it is in the emerald colorway. They were purchased together, so they should coordinate together in a project. And Malabrigo lace weight are singles, and they have 470 yards, 50 grams. This lace weight is probably the softest thing I have ever knit with. I have a couple shawls out of Malabrigo lace weight. They are my favorite in the winter because they get super, super soft. They felt just the tiniest bit, or full kind of a little bit, and they are so warm and cushy, and 2 skeins is enough to do a lovely shawl. I will also throw in a pattern of the winner's choice up to $10, purchasable on Ravelry. So that is what you are entering to win. Please leave a comment on the podcast and tell me what your favorite moment of the podcast has been. So this, again, the contest will only be on YouTube, although I will post an color accurate picture on Instagram just so that you can see what it is you will be winning. And leave me a message below, leave me a comment, and I will draw for the winner on the next podcast, which will happen next weekend. So thank you for tuning in today. If this was your first time, I hope you enjoyed and I hope you'll come back. And if you are a returning or a subscriber, thank you so much for spending time with me. I enjoy spending time with you. I will say, as I always do, until I see you next time, happy spinning, happy knitting, happy sipping, and I'll see you next time. Bye.